Started now. Thank you and welcome to joining us this afternoon for another episode of the Jane Irrigation Training Series. And today we're going to be talking about the World Ag Expo. And this is really a highlight, I know, of my year, the irrigation year. You know, everybody loves going to the Ag Expo, not only seeing the irrigation things that are there, but all the other agricultural products and people. It's really a great week. Now, this past year, I know has been difficult for everybody. Things have changed. Many of these conferences have gone virtual, and World Ag made that decision to go virtual also. Now, just because we're virtual doesn't mean it's worse, right? In fact, from what I've seen, this experience is going to be very good, very exciting, very interesting. And we're so fortunate today to have Jennifer Fawkes with us today. She is the marketing manager at the International Agri Center, and really one of these people that works behind the scenes to make this show go so well every year. And you know, one thing I've noticed in working with Jennifer a little bit here is that you know, she's got a background in newspaper, and I know she gets this concept of deadline very well, and she's very action oriented. She gets stuff done, and that's been my experience. And I was really excited to hear that she would join us today to talk about World Ag and this virtual side of it, because I know in talking with her, they've really thought this through and are going to make it a great experience for all of us. So first of all, I want to say welcome, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you for the invite and the opportunity. You know, I really hope we can fulfill everything, all the good things you just said about us, but we all know there's always technical difficulties, and this is new.
Yeah.
So like you said, it's going to be different. And it's what we can do this year, but definitely looking forward to getting back to a live show. So thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and I think that's really a good point that it's new, right? And people are learning, and some of us have been to a few virtual shows. I think many people still haven't been to their first virtual show.
Right. And yeah, and it's interesting. We were talking about another show, and you know, definitely we took a look at some different platforms and things before we decided how we're going to roll this out. And we all try to do the same basic thing: bring buyers and sellers together, help people have conversations, and help, you know, business move. But we all get there a little bit different and with different platforms. And I know that's so hard for users and exhibitors trying to learn that all, and not just learn that, but this year learn lots of new things that nobody ever chose. And so, you know, any show you're going to, ours, anyone else, just give it a little chance. We've had it up because we want people to learn before everything starts live, and have a chance to really get as much as they need.
Yeah. So one thing I think I've learned is that going forward, even when we're able to get back together again, I think all the shows are going to have a virtual part to them as well, because actually some of this is going on very well.
Yeah, you know, and that's an interesting thing. I think once people, so some things we've learned from other shows, we've looked at, so World Ag Expo is part of North American Farm Show Council. And so we actually are on a monthly call with Canadian shows across the US to talk about the experience. And we're all going to have varying levels. We have different staff levels and what we're choosing to do. But we even early on got to hear from a cereal show in the UK. And the thing that they noted early on, and I think we all need to keep in mind, is that there's a certain demographic of the audience that loves going to live shows because that's what they're comfortable with. And come on, live shows are fun. You actually get to talk to people, see things, touch them, try them. I wish we were doing that this year. But you also start to hit a different, younger demographic that's a little more comfortable in this area that don't always come to shows in the same way. So I'm looking at this from the marketing side of, yeah, people are going to learn new behaviors. Budgets are going to change. Our job is to still bring buyers and sellers together. And so in future, it might mean you're going to get 500 leads in person and another 250 online from people that couldn't make it that year for whatever reason. The goal is, the upside would be to open more opportunities for our exhibitors, not less. So this will be, let's practice it this year. And we're doing it all year long because we know 3 days of digital is not the same as 3 days live. And we want everybody to get that practice and those opportunities.
Right. And that's why I'm so happy you're here today, helping all of us get a better experience, right? Knowing a few tips
Sure.
and tricks.
Yep.
But before we get into that,
Yeah.
I'm curious at what point, because I can't imagine, knowing that you've got 100,000 people coming, at what
Yeah.
point do you say, okay, we're going to be virtual? You had to do it, right, a long time before anybody really even understood, how COVID
Right.
was difficult. So what was that like for you guys?
Stressful. Tear your hair out kind of thing. It really became, we got really lucky. So we got through the 2020 show by the skin of our teeth. I mean, just
Yeah.
blessings and everything, and really good support from the Tulare County Health Department. And just in case anybody has questions, they screen the heck out of attendees and exhibitors to make sure no one were limiting anything we knew about at the time. But we knew something was coming. We knew it was going to be a bigger deal. So we were just kind of updating every month, checking in with the health department, still planning, hoping this is going to blow over. But knowing it probably, we weren't going to get that lucky. So the summer, I really was like, okay, I better start planning. So looking at options. We got really serious about August, September, looking at, we have to order tents. They come from Utah.
Oh,
And when do exhibitors start ordering things? They start planning their booths. They reserve hotels right after the last show. There's a lot of money invested, not just from us, but exhibitors. They
yeah.
make plans, they're buying tickets. What is the reality for them? We cannot put people out of business because we're trying to figure out if we can do this or not. And not only that, we started getting attendees asking, are you really, I'm going to buy my plane tickets. You're really having the show, right? And I'm just like, oh my God, I cannot have people, we can't create new headaches. So we got together with the board, really talked through it, got some very serious feedback with the county health department, and said, this is not responsible. It's not only health wise what we can risk for people, but financially,
Yeah.
we can't. We just, unfortunately, we can't. And mentally, anyone knows that anything you cancel or change, you've got to do a little bit of mourning and like try to really understand what that loss is going to mean so you can make the decision and not be too emotionally attached. So it, it was tough, but we had to be really realistic and really responsible.
Yeah, and it turned out to be the right decision. I
Yeah.
think everybody will agree on that now. And you guys made it far enough ahead to where look, you've put together a great virtual show.
Well, thank
So,
you. Yeah.
so speaking of virtual shows, right?
Yes.
For those who haven't been yet, or before I went to my first one, I'm thinking now, do I have to sit in front of my computer for 3 days? Right? I mean, what do I do? How does this actually work?
Right. And that's, we'd love to think we made such a good show that everybody's going to want to do that. But come on, that's not realistic. And we know any and everyone that's working from home, has spent any time working from home, it's not realistic. And we've met our audience. Ag hasn't stopped working. It's really not realistic for them. So going in, and you alluded to, my newspaper background, just really working in content and understanding. You want to work with people who know what they're doing. You need to learn new information constantly. How do we help provide that? And not just in those 3 days. We're going to have a ton in those 3 days, but also make it available for this audience when and where they need it and they have time for it. So we really took the approach with seminars and with the exhibitor pages. They've got to be available all year long. Our audience has buying needs all year long. They always need something. The seminars, let's make them on demand. There's some, when I actually have time to go back and look at a lot of these seminars, we're going to talk to hosts and say, can we strip out this audio and make it into a podcast? So same thing, if it's something you don't need a visual, but can listen to it while you're in the cab of your tractor or taking a long drive for something else you need to do, you have some other way to engage. And so that's really what we looked at. We also know rural broadband is tough. So let's not have so many pictures and live stuff that you can't download anything. All of those things, so you've got to really look at, do what you can do, get what you need, and then go back to work and then come back and see us the next week. But our exhibitors really, they're here to help you. They want to talk to you and they want to help you make your operation better.
Yeah, no, that's great. And that's really exciting too, because, there's often times where I go and there's two education sessions I wanted to see that were at the same time, or, I had a customer I needed to meet with and he could only meet at this time and I couldn't see it. So, I'm going to be there live next year, definitely. But
Okay.
I
Yeah.
bet I bet I'm taking advantage of some of the recorded education all this year and probably all next year too, because it might exist online then too.
And that's really what we talked about is let's make this a library of education and resources for people. So they get what they need when they need it. You don't know when somebody, it's just, when I worked in newspaper on the advertising side, you never knew when your refrigerator was going to go out, but there better be some information ready for you. So you know what you got to get. So.
Yeah. So another thing that I really like about the show, besides just all the cool irrigation stuff, is there's a lot of tractors, big equipment, stuff that I find really fascinating, seeing all the technology that's involved in that. So I like just walking around the show and seeing all that, right? And
Yes.
wow, I didn't have any idea. How do I do that online?
That's a great question. And that has been a big question. I think the two big questions are like, how do I like walk through the show and how do I get my steak sandwich? And the steak sandwich I can't solve, but the walking through the show. So there's a couple things I'd recommend. So when you go to the front page, the homepage of the show, you're going to see some tiles that get you like seminars and exhibitors and different things. There's also some links on the right-hand side. There's one called Product Gallery. That's where there's hundreds of products and services, pictures and videos and descriptions. I'd run through that because you're going to see pictures of, dairy robots and the big topping equipment and lots of different things that you go, wait, what is that?
Right.
So you're looking just like you do when you walk through and see something cool in a booth and wander in, you click on it, you go straight into exhibitor's booth. So now you can explore that and look at what else they have to offer. There's also a couple other things like there's going to be live demonstrations. They're going to be video, obviously, with a live chat. But there's a gallery of those that exhibitors are working on getting those all scheduled next week. But there's also like special offers. So if you like to shop by, deals, check out that list. So there's a bunch of quick lists that you can search things in different ways. And remember, you said you like tractors. If you go to the keyword search, put in tractor, you're going to get everybody that had something about tractor in it. And on the left-hand side will be, here are the exhibitors, here's the product categories, here's the seminars, all kinds of things that you can look at that have anything to do with a tractor. So the company we're working with did a great job of trying to make it that search engine within the internet specifically to our content.
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, so in my likes, right, irrigation, tractors, and then a really good deal is right in there too in
Right.
the top three.
Right.
So there's going to be a place where I can go and check out the really
Yep.
good deals, right? People
Yeah.
are going to be having
Yeah.
these offers.
Yeah. So every page, every exhibitor has the availability to put in a special offer, and that's going to be one of those little quick lists and just
Yeah.
a special offers. Go in there, check them out. And again, because we're all year, we're encouraging exhibitors to look at it as you can change this up monthly. If you have something different, my job as the marketer and my team is to help remind people monthly that we're here, we have new things, we're going to work on new seminars all year. So that way there's a reason for people to come back and check you out when they need something. And so, yeah, check. I know it has a free bumper sticker. So if you have a student or somebody looking at college, they've already got some stuff to bring people in, but it's stuff like that. It's new services and discounts. So there's some good stuff there.
Yeah, that's really cool. I can't wait to check that out now. I hadn't seen that yet, so I'm excited. The other thing that's always big for me is the education sessions, right? I mean, there are so many bright people in our industry.
Yes.
It's really amazing that they all converge at the Ag Show every year.
Yep.
I'm still going to be able to see this now, right?
Yep. So seminar section, the first thing I recommend, if you haven't done it, make your My Show planner. And that is your own personal account. And you have to have one to go in and see the seminars. That information, we get it. Your information is private. You are coming to a trade show. So if you want to share your information, only the exhibitors you visit can see that. But if you do want to keep it private, there is an option there. But go in, first name, last name, email address, that's the minimum. But log in and then check out the seminars. And we've got, I think we're at 13 tracks. I was just editing some stuff yesterday. Dairy, technology, water, irrigation. The Fresno State's doing a ton of great stuff. They have some great research. So their Institute of Food and Ag is doing a whole section too. But once you go in, if you do go into the first scheduled showing, it'll be live. And what that means, the upside of that is some of them, a lot of the wet center, so Fresno State Wet Center is doing a live Zoom, so you guys can actually ask questions, talk to them. But if they don't do it live like that, there will be a live chat. So you can ask questions in real time, get some answers, at least get on the radar. But if you miss that part, no problem. There is, you can watch it on demand later, and you can still see what happened in that chat log. So you can find out, you might get your question answered and then follow up. So I think we have 103 seminars scheduled right now, and we have some more that we're looking to put up.
Man, that's great. That's a lot of info. So
yes, it is.
So you will have so can you see the video before the scheduled time, or it's at the scheduled time and after?
It's going to be scheduled time and after. And so right now, the 3 that are live and on demand are just some how-to videos from us. You'll be seeing my face again, but it's also, hey, here's some suggestions of how to navigate the show and how this works. Because that is hard when you just trying to get in and what do I do? We just try to put some stuff up there to be helpful and give people a chance to practice getting into a seminar, knowing they have to have a My Show planner to see the video. So they have a little chance before they're the week of.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting too what you're saying about your identity and signing up, right? And giving that information.
Yep.
And one thing I know that people have exhibited at these virtual shows before is the information they collect is so much more valuable as an exhibitor, right? And we've all been at a show where we see somebody come up, we recognize them, we don't really remember their name, right? And it's like, hey, big guy, or whatever.
Right.
How are you? And then we're trying to glance at the name tag and they can tell. Well, all this is funneled into the exhibitors, right? I mean, you can actually see who you're talking to after.
Yeah. So for exhibitors, so if anyone on the call is an exhibitor, you have on your dashboard, it's funny, we've working with Map Your Show, who's our digital provider, worked with them for years. There's always been a digital back end, but nobody's really worried about it because, they're going to the show. So at least that was set up and we didn't have to really go shopping for someone new, but there's always been a lead capture option there. So we turned it on for everybody this year. You have to. This is the show. So what happens is anytime someone interacts with your piece of content, no matter what, whether they have a My Show planner, whether they're logged in or not, you'll get a traffic number. So you can just get an idea of how much traffic you have per month. You'll always get, if they clicked to your website, so you know where some of your traffic's coming from. And then if they are logged in and have decided to share their information with you or with any exhibitor they visit, you'll have a number, click on it, you'll see the list, and you can actually download it in Excel from that desktop and work with it. So there's also live chat for exhibitors. So make sure that week and anytime you are available to be on, you can be in for a live chat so people can talk to you. They can also, though, as long as you're in there as a contact, send you an email right from the system. So it's pretty quick.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing I think is going to take some getting used to, right, is World Ag. It's 3 days, but now it's going to be, right, it's going to be all year.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's, we'll have to get used to that, but that's good, right? All this information available all year.
And that's what we're going for. We've always been looking for other ways to be relevant to our audience throughout the year. But, I always feel like, what do I have to say? I'm not working in a field all day, every day or even very often. How can we be helpful? And that's all we really want, just to be a platform to help people connect buyers and sellers. So this year I was like, you know what? Let's use it as a test. It's a way to help, again, just try to fill that pipeline for our exhibitors all year long and get people any info they need to know. And so this will be kind of that test to see what do we do going forward? How does it work in future years where there's a lot more digital than just that live interaction, and see what starts to work. Because that's been the other recommendation. We've had some people, exhibitors, like, I've got to do everything. It's no, do what you can manage, do what you're going to do well, do what's helpful for your customers. Yeah. You want to be really there and really effective for your customers, and not dairy doesn't need the same thing every day as irrigation.
Right.
And so that's what we're trying to encourage people. And same thing for us. We'll look for things that work well and really hone in on that.
Yeah, what great advice. So we do have 3 education centers coming from Jane Irrigation people. Jeff Tools talking on ag tech, Corey Broad on drip irrigation and how to flush systems. And then Kevin Stewart's going to be talking about hemp.
Yeah.
And last year you guys had quite a big crowd in hemp and cannabis.
Yeah.
Was it coming back this year online? How is that?
We're working on it. And, like all of us in the last 12 months, business has changed dramatically. And so hemp has definitely gone through some changes, but I just got an email today. I think I'm going to have probably somewhere between 4 and 10 new seminars coming in for hemp. We already have 4 on the system. You guys are one of them. But looking at what else can we do? This is a big discussion. It's a new commodity. And just like anything, how is it incorporated responsibly? How do farmers get the help they need? All of those things. So we're like, hey, how can we help, especially in something new that's coming from a very different, from being illegal to now being legal? How do you help vet people so we're serving up good, responsible business partners for our attendees and other exhibitors as well? So we're trying to do a little of that work for you. I can't guarantee I'm learning every day, but we're at least, if there's a problem, we want to hear about it so we make better decisions to help.
Yeah, and that's pretty great because one thing's for sure is if I'm growing cotton or if I'm growing almonds, right? I can talk to somebody who's been doing it for 50 years.
Right.
And I don't think that exists yet in hemp and cannabis.
No, not in the way I think ag is used to.
Yeah.
Not openly in a field. So.
Yeah. So, and we've got somebody asking, from our audience, what about cannabis?
Sure.
Are there sessions on cannabis too?
I'm trying to remember now. I don't think we have one on cannabis this year. For us as an educational nonprofit run by a volunteer board and just our general standpoint, cannabis is not something we're super excited about, and it more has to do with the psychoactive stuff right now, and it's still just a little bit too unknown for us. So that's not going to be something we push as much. Hemp, because again, the THC count is so low, there's a lot of different things going on there. We're more interested in working on the hemp side and just, providing some opportunities there. But we know we have exhibitors. We're not going to say no to cannabis, have the private conversations that those exhibitors need to have. We know we have people that do greenhouses for lots of different things that are exhibitors. So there's some different things that go on there, but it's just not going to be as big a push for us right now as an organization.
Yeah, and that makes sense, right? And we'll see a lot of transition and change in that, I think, in the next couple of years.
Absolutely.
And people will be ready for it whenever they're ready for it.
Exactly. And that's when we'll be ready as well. We just need a little more information and feel really comfortable with partners as well.
Right. So hey, another thing I was really interested in is I believe the International Ag Center is distributing vaccines for COVID now. Is that correct?
Well, let me just phrase it as this. The Tulare County Health Department is doing the vaccine distribution at our location. We have a lot of people calling us saying, why won't you let me have my vaccine? I'm like, we're not deciding. But yeah, we are a location for vaccines, and that is for Tulare County residents or folks that work in Tulare County. And the county health department is doing a great job I was just on a town hall last night on Facebook Live. And so if you're in the county, work in the county, please visit the Tulare County Health Department. They'll get you hooked up with an appointment and get you on the list. But it's been interesting to have lots of activity at the office. I see it from afar because I'm working from home. Right. But I'll be out there directing traffic tomorrow morning because we're helping where we can and make sure that people get in and out of the location easily, lots of signage. So it's been busy and people are really interested. We're very interested in everybody getting a vaccine. We're ready for a 2022 show.
Right. So people are getting vaccines today.
Yeah. Yep. Today and tomorrow. You need an appointment. If you don't already have one, they're full. Yeah. So please don't show up. We'll just have to turn you around. But it's happening. I think the number last night, about 17,000 residents have been vaccinated with at least a first dose. So they're working hard as soon as they have vaccine, they're trying to get it out there.
Yeah. So we're starting to see that in San Diego too, Petco Park where the Padres play,
right.
Parking lot, drive in, and it's happening. It's very exciting. It's very, very hopeful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, Jennifer, anybody who's kind of hesitant about coming to a virtual show, I'm not sure about the technology or how to do
Sure.
this. What advice do you have for them? Kind of to send them off on the end of the day here. I mean, they got on Zoom if they're here today, or they got
Right.
YouTube.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
it any harder than that?
I don't think it is, but again, I've had to think of this stuff, so I'm sure there's something I missed. So what I would say is this. If you have a couple minutes, go to our website, go to worldagexpo.com. Our front page has a number of ways to get into it now. Just take a look around. You do not have to create a login or an account just to look around. Start exploring, do some searches, click on some buttons, get a little comfortable. Hopefully it's helpful to you. If it's not, shoot me a note and let me know what didn't work because I want to fix it. But it's again, like we said at the top, like it's different. I'd prefer to have a live show. We know how to do that. It's very comfortable for all of us. But dig in a little bit, communicate with these exhibitors. They're still the great people you're looking for information. I mean, Jane, you guys are there. You want to talk to people. You want to help them do what they need to do. It's just a little different this year, and we just want to be here to help.
Right. That's great to hear, and I'm into different, right? Sometimes different is better. So I'm always looking for ways that we can make this better. And I think we'll
Right.
learn from things this year that'll make next year's show even better, maybe a
Yep.
combination of both. And man, so it's exciting.
Yeah, good.
So listen, thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
on today. I know I learned so much about how to
Good.
have a better show experience. I'm sincere when I say I can't wait. It's going to be a great show. I was going to say a
Yeah.
great week, but it's going to be more than a week. And I'm going to really take advantage of the education all year long. So
Good.
thanks so much. And for the viewers
Yeah.
out there, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Your support of us and our training that we bring is really means a lot to us. So thanks to all of you. Have a great weekend. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys all at the Ag Show in a couple weeks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.